Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report and another company update, this time from Founders Metals, following up on the November interview that I had with Colin Padget, the president and CEO, introducing this company that has been very much a standout exploration story at the company's Antino Gold Project in Suriname. The company had a big drill program last year, and this year the drill program that we're going to focus on is a 60,000 meter drill program that is started, 4 drill rigs, all owned by the company, testing a number of different targets on this Antino property. I'll post a link, or I'll post an image that shows this Antino project and a number of targets, many of which the company will be getting to throughout this program. Founders Metals is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol FDR, on the OTC markets under the symbol FDMIF, and the Frankfurt Exchange 9DL0. Now, Colin, welcome back to the show. Let's just bring everybody up to speed on this 60,000 meter drill program. You're going to be testing a lot of targets, so give us an overview of the overall goals of this program, please.
Sure, can do. And thanks for having me back on. Yeah, 60,000 meters this year. And really the message overall is it's exploration, exploration, exploration. So we did just over 10,000 meters first year, 43,000 last year, 60,000 this year, but all looking at growing the things that we already have had quite a lot of success with, multiple areas on the property where I think right now we're sitting at 51 over 50 gram meter products and 23 over 100 gram meters in terms of drilling to date. So growing those things and then testing a lot of new targets further afield. We've got about a dozen of them right now that kind of tick all of the geologic criteria for mineralization in our, what we refer to as our natural laboratory at Upper Antino.
Well, let's kick it off there as far as the targets, Colin, just because you've done the most work at Upper Antino. You did a lot of drilling there last year. Just bring everybody up to speed on that particular target and where you'll be vectored in on this year.
Yeah, we started last year. Actually, yeah, early 2024, it was about 600 meters of strike. We were down probably about 125, 130 meters at the time in terms of true vertical depth. We've, over the course of 2024, taken that to 1.6 kilometers of drill-defined gold mineralization, high-grade gold mineralization along strike. We're down to 260, 270 meters vertical. And we had, well, every time we stepped back for quite a while there, we were hitting new parallel zones with, similar scale to the main shear that we started on. So, we're now about a 400 meter wide footprint. Yeah, a lot of new discovery, a lot of added ounces. And I think we really would improve the overall, economics of any future development as well with finding this stuff.
So out of that 60,000 meters, approximately how much will go into Froyo? And do you think you'll have resource on the back end of this program this year?
I'll answer the second question first. No resource plan for this year. This is, as I said, all exploration. So we still haven't found the limit for Upper Antino, and that's the most advanced property or project on the property right now. Until we find that limit, it's awfully hard to say how many meters and how much time it's going to take to go back in and drill it off for a resource. And I think that long-term global resource is really what we're after. So on the resource side, it's wait till the end of this year. We're going to look back at all the success that we've had, what we've defined, and then we'll make plan from there for 2026 as far as resource timing goes. At Upper Antino this year, we're targeting around 20,000 of those meters, growing the Upper Antino piece. And Upper Antino is the bigger box in the top left corner of that map. And in that, we talk about Froyo. The other target up there is Donut. So Froyo and Donut, they're all part of this big folded system. And right now, we've covered most of a cross strike between the two, which is about a kilometer. Had some big success on both sides of those, both limbs of that big fold. We've got a lot of testing to do in the hinge of that fold, kind of going up to the northwest. And then it's I think, to the south is really exciting. We had some high grade grab samples last year from over a kilometer away. And we'll be doing some testing of targets that we've, again, generated from what we understand about that deposit now that are, upwards of a kilometer plus south towards Buese on that 15-kilometer trend.
So there could be other desert targets there besides Froyo and Donut. We may have some other desert targets. Well, and if you look at the image that Corey's going to post and you go down that 15-kilometer gold trend, You get onto some other targets eventually, like Buese and Da Vinci. Maybe talk about this whole 15-kilometer gold trend that you've mapped out on that particular image.
Yeah, so started at about 8 kilometers. That was really just Upper Antino or Froyo all the way down to Buese. After that, the Da Vinci discovery, latter part of December last year, that showed us that there's, really significant gold mineralization along a much larger trend. And then right around that same time, we had our guys doing some exploration mapping, kind of just regional stuff on the river, and we were able to take it all the way to through our property boundary and to the French Guiana border, basically. So yeah, there's 15-kilometer trend there, gold mineralization identified along the length, and shear zones that have that same orientation, these same characteristics that I'm talking about. And even more exciting, I think, or a new development for us has been the idea that there's potentially more than one 15-kilometer trend. There's these parallel larger trends that seem to be developing as well, and that's on that map. I think I've drawn it on a couple of talks I've done recently, connecting the dots between Lower Antino, Maria Giralda. We've got a brand new target that would be further along that, closer to Vinci, called Van Gogh. And then outward from there, you start to be waving your arms a little bit more, I think, on the geology front, but it looks like there's potential for a third one even, connecting Parbo and some of the lava mineralization.
Give us a little bit more color on this Da Vinci discovery then, because that was more just released at the beginning of December, December 11th. We see some long widths here, widths of up to 67 meters of grade, a little over a gram per ton. There's a hole in here that's 36 meters of 2.21 grams per ton gold. There are some higher grade components, but again, this seems to hold some very long widths at Da Vinci. That's just first pass drilling, but give us some more insights into Da Vinci and what that could turn to be.
Yeah, we were really happy with that. I mean, it's not very often as a geologist, or I think even as an exploration company, that your first drill hole into something comes back with grades like that, and points to a shear with that scale, a mineralized structure with that scale. And then, subsequent to it, yeah, 60, plus meter intervals really point to something that typically to develop a structure like that, you have to have some length, some legs along strike. And so our plan going forward with it really is to see what those legs look like. There's been a little bit of artisanal mining in the past there. It's quite some time ago that anyone was working there. So it does help, gives us a few indications of which direction to go, kind of thing. But overall, it's just keep drilling it along strike, building it out, and then continuing to test some of the we think that there's potentially some more parallel structures there that go along with that.
Well, some nice hits at Da Vinci, especially coming right out of the gates on those holes, but then also straddling Upper Antino and Da Vinci in the middle there is Buese, and you've got a lot of soil samples there. You've done some drilling there. What can you tell us about the target between the two, Upper Antino and Da Vinci? Buese.
Yeah, Buese is a little different. So on the property, we've got two types of gold mineralization. Both fall into the broad orogenic gold category. One is the shear zone hosted stuff, and that would be, Da Vinci's an example of that. Upper Antino, the Froyo mineralization is an example of that. Buese is intrusion hosted gold mineralization. So the rocks act a little differently when those shears and the fluids and things come through them. And so you get gold mineralization over much broader intervals. Our first round of drilling there, we had 130, 140 meter type intervals of 0.3, 0.4 as kind of background, and then some high strain zones or shears within that intrusive, where we had 78 meters of 2.35 come out of that, and 20 meters of 7.6, 7.7. So there's our model there is really testing, finding the limits of this larger intrusive body, and then finding these high grade things to bring up that overall average. And it's the area on the property that's seen the most historic mining in terms of the alluvial or small scale stuff. This guy's have mined saprolite and things there for a very long time, and they don't keep spending money on diesel typically to do that unless they're getting some gold out of the ground. So we're pretty excited to continue drilling there, and we actually have a drill on that right now, continuing to follow up on that last press release.
All right, so Colin, we look at that image that I'm going to post, the map of this project, and there are targets all over here. And hey, you have 60,000 meters, so it sounds like you're going to be testing pretty much all of these. When or how do you go about focusing on certain targets here if you seem to be hitting some impressive mineralization almost across the board?
Yeah, so I mean, we certainly operate on a bit of a ranking scheme. Tier one target for us is obviously Upper Antino. So, the bulk of, or the largest proportion of drilling will go into Upper Antino and continuing to grow that, finding the limits. After that, we see Lower Antino and Buese as our, I'd say, tier two. There's still some things to learn at those targets. They're relatively new drilling targets relative to Upper Antino, I mean. So continuing to work on those kind of back and forth with one of our drills. After that, it's these things like tier three where we've had some really good success in the first round of drilling, or there's some historic work that points us in the direction of going there. Da Vinci's obviously one of those. I think fastly moving up the ranking ladder, but Da Vinci Parbo out to the east is another one of these where there's nothing else to do but drill it. And then after that, we have one rig that for the entire course of the year, all the little boxes aren't marked on the map, but there's another 10, 12 targets that rig is going to test. And I had it in the last press release. We expect to be testing 1 to 2, brand new, never been drilled before targets per month this year, which is pretty exciting.
Well, and Colin, another advantage you have at Founders is the low cost of drilling, and that's why you can do a 60,000 meter drill program. You own those 4 drill rigs, but just talk about how you keep the cost down and drilling in Suriname, the benefits.
Yeah, I mean, keeping costs down overall, it really is just running our own operation. There's a lot of flexibility that comes with that. We've been very fortunate. We hire locally as much as we can, which we're very happy to do, and been able to source some excellent people, very good drillayers, very good drill support. But we manage the supply chain, we manage the drills, we have our own mechanics, everything. And just that top down piece keeps the numbers really in check.
All right, Colin, look, a lot of drilling, a lot for us to, I guess, follow up with you on when we start to see some of these results. Just give us a lay of the land and news flow then, when you expect to see some news and anything else that the company is working on in parallel with this large drill program.
Sure. Yeah. So news flow for us, I mean, we were off for 3 weeks over the holidays, so we're now fully ramped up with 4 rigs going. Results are starting to trickle in for stuff from this year. Yeah, I'd expect that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we start getting back into the full tilt exploration drilling results on a pretty regular basis. I think that's something that we're known for and plan to continue through 2025 with just keeping people as informed and up to date as possible on what we're seeing with the drill. Other big things to watch out for, I would say, would be there's certainly some additional ground around us that we're looking to consolidate in terms of larger land package. There's some corporate items will be coming through stage 2 of our option for 70% of the asset here later in H1, but likely kind of April, May timeframe. And yeah, after that, with luck, I mean, we're definitely working on consolidating 100% of the asset, and that is a big goal of mine. Would be to kind of bring on our partners in country as shareholders, or of Founders itself, and have 100% of the asset moving forward.
Okay. Colin, thank you very much for this update. Again, Colin Padget, President and CEO of Founders Metals. Click that link in the show notes to visit the company's website. Email us any questions you have for Colin. And Colin, we're going to follow up with you as some of the results come out and any other details on that drill program. So we do appreciate the update today.
No, sounds great. Appreciate it.